This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. My first visit to the MTK Performance Centre in 2022. Happy New Year, Ben. When do people stop saying that?
Probably about now.
So I won't get one back.
No, Happy New Year.
How was your Christmas? Kept your weight under control?
Yeah, tried to. Yeah, not bad. It's difficult, isn't it? Because you have to be careful of the elderly of the family with obviously all this COVID and that. So, yeah.
Okay. Did you manage to kind of keep your fighters boxing off your mind during that time?
No, because Josh is obviously preparing. So we had Christmas Day off and Boxing Day off, and then was back in the day after. So, yeah, no, not much.
Yeah, I was saying to Josh, just spoke to him, and he obviously had Christmas, New Year's, and his birthday all bang in the middle of camp.
Yeah, but you know what? Josh is the type that, and I'm the same really, that without it, like you think that, but then a few days without it, and all you want to do is get back to it. So,
Well, yeah, luckily you've got a fight out very soon in Josh Taylor, Feb 26th. Did you take anything away from that press tour we had before, just before Christmas with Jack Cattrall? What did you make of his demeanour, approach to that?
no, there's nothing that you can really take from that. It's a little bit of an awkward situation because obviously, you know, there's respect there in the sense of Jack obviously stepped aside, so Josh could go on to do that and become the undisputed and all the rest of it. So, but obviously as the fight gets closer and now all that's sort of done, that respect's got to go out the window until after the fight.
I think it certainly did, especially on the second day in London. Wasn't anything personal or anything like that, but we needed that bit of tension and not bad blood, but a bit of edge. There wasn't that. It was lacking that really, and then I think Josh needs that to get right up for his fights. Would you go along with that as well?
I would probably say usually, but I think because of what's at stake in terms of, you know, all of these belts, the undisputed, something that he's worked so hard to achieve, and he's so rare to achieve. I think that's all the motivation that he needs. You know, I always say it, that people say, "Oh, you go into a fight and he's the champion," but when that first bell rings, no one's a champion. Them belts are up in the air. So Josh has got to go out there and win them again and reclaim them.
And for Jack, obviously, he's getting one fight here where he has a shot at all four belts. So, I mean, not many fighters can say that in world boxing. So he'll be right up for this. This is the moment he's waited and more really, because you know he's prepared his whole life for a world title shot. But he, as we said, he gets a shot at four belts here.
Yeah, of course. And deep down he'll know that this is, you know, it's a huge ask for Jack. Not to say we've never seen anything like that happen before, and we're preparing for Jack as though he's the best fighter that's ever stepped foot on the planet. But you know, it's a huge occasion for Jack, and it's one of them. Do you let the occasion swallow you, or do you rise to it?
Any concern about the COVID situation and potentially fans not being able to attend Feb 26? Has that gone through your mind?
Yeah, of course, obviously, but we've just got to keep preparing. We've not heard anything or been told anything, so we're just preparing as though everything's normal. I saw that you've done an interview with Bob. He mentioned something about if there's not fans, he might put it on over in America. But look, I don't know, it's stressful, isn't it? But we just got to prepare, focus on Jack, and whatever the situation is, it is.
Of course, but I do ask that because, see, Josh had an amazing moment last year. You know, fighters could only dream of having that moment, but it wasn't in front of his fans. Obviously, they weren't able to travel to Las Vegas, and now he's having his big homecoming. It kind of, the selling point around that was to do with his Scottish fans being there, so we need them there.
Oh, I do feel sorry for him, like, really do feel sorry for him because, you know, to go away and I mean, it was absolutely amazing, the Ramirez fight. Me and Josh were talking about it the other day because it was like, it was 98% Mexican fans in there, all for Ramirez, and like this little block of the Scottish fans, and obviously the Scottish are passionate in whatever that they do, but you know, they was screaming after the fight. I can remember they was offering me thousands. I think I had Josh's gloves or something I had over my shoulder. I'll give you anything, you know, the passion, and to have that offer such a small percentage, it was already limited. Plus, it was, like I say, it was probably 90-10, really, Ramirez support to Josh's and the Scottish support. But they still made so much noise and made sure they didn't get overheard. And that passion, imagine that by 10,000, whatever can fit into the arena. So Josh deserves that. So I really do hope that he gets that. But at the end of the day, we are professionals. As nice as that would be, the situation is what it is, and we'll deal with it, whatever it is.
Also, just spoke to Josh about this. Don't know how to phrase it. At the time when BBC were announcing their spotting nominees, so Josh had a bit to say about on social media, but really he said inside he wasn't actually that bothered. What were your feelings towards it, and you reflected on it a few weeks after, what your feelings towards the fact that Josh didn't even get mentioned?
I've been there before with Tyson with it, so yeah, not to be honest with you, I don't really pay attention to it.
Okay, that's that one done.
Nothing against it, do you know what I mean? But it's just not something that I follow really.
Ben, just get you back in shot. Sorry, you're a mover, aren't you?
Am I?
Yeah. Have you been told that a lot?
Nah, not really.
Even though you're sitting down, like you move about and stuff.
Fidgety.
What's the situation with Devin Haney? We know you're just kind of in a training role. You're not advising him, or people take care of his career. But have you had any conversations with him about what is next and that potential fight with Kambosos Jr.?
Yeah, spoke to him this week. He's confident that fight's going to come off. And he's willing to travel. You know, he said after the Jojo Diaz fight that he takes, he respects and appreciates the fact that Kambosos has the 3 belts, and Devin's got the WBC. So he's willing to travel. You know, for me, yeah, I keep seeing all this. This money for that fight, that money for this fight. And I understand, like we was just talking about the cult type mentality of boxing fans, and that like they support this guy, so that guy can't have any credit. Now, it's not to say that so and so doesn't deserve an opportunity, so and so doesn't deserve an opportunity. But the reality of it is, whether anybody likes it or not, is that for, like we just said, how rare is it for it to have an opportunity to box for the undisputed, not to be undisputed, just an opportunity to box for it. Like the only way these two guys get that, like it's so rare. The only way these two guys get it is to box each other. There's no other way that you get an opportunity to become undisputed without boxing each other. So you never know what can happen. Mandatories. You know, we were supposed to have it with Tyson and AJ, and then obviously what happened with AJ and Usyk. These things can get very messy, and I think while the opportunity's here, both top quality fighters, they deserve it. They deserve the opportunity to claim this piece of greatness. You know, currently we've only got Josh and Canelo as the 2 undisputed champions in boxing at the minute. So it's an opportunity that you can't pass up. And if it means that so-and-so offered you an extra $1 million or whatever, not that $1 million's not a lot of money, of course it's a lot of money, but what are you in it for? And this is an opportunity to seize greatness. And, you know, I just think that that's a fight that's got to be made, no bones about it.
We shall see. Hopefully we are all booking our flights to Australia.
Seize greatness? I meant seize greatness, sorry.
Yeah, hopefully we're booking our flights to Australia some point this year for that undisputed fight. Ben, you mentioned Canelo there, of course, the ring mag.
Even if it's not in Australia, anywhere, you know. Be great.
Well, no, anyway, but I think if it's going to happen, it's probably most likely in Australia.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know with the entry rules and COVID and how things may change and the risk of it being in Australia. as I said, Devin's said that he's happy to go to Australia, but wherever it may be, you know, like I'm saying this on behalf of Devin, but I'm saying this on behalf of George Kambosos as well. If it means that George Kambosos, Josh, for example, I'm not going to box Ramirez if I can't box in Scotland. Like, you know, you got to take these opportunities, and yeah, I'm sure if it makes sense and everybody can, and it can happen. I'm not a promoter, I don't know, but if it can happen in Australia, then I'm sure that's great for everybody. But if it can't, it's still a chance and an opportunity that both fighters got to take wherever it may land.
Ben, during that you mentioned Canelo being undisputed. I will ask you about the Ring Magazine nominations. Of course, Eddie Reynoso won Trainer of the Year. You were in contention for that. Deservedly so as well, you'd say yourself?
Well, I can't really say that, can I? Put me on the spot there. But yeah, you know, should have won it. No, I'm joking now. Look, what an amazing year. I know Eddie's associated with Canelo, and what an amazing year he had. But also, let's not forget the Oscar Valdez fight against Burchell. What a brilliant win. And obviously Ryan Garcia against Luke Campbell. He had an amazing year across the board as well. So, respect to those guys. It's great to be mentioned, you know, and nominated. But, of course, want to win it. Want to win it more times than anybody's ever won it. But, yeah, an amazing year from those guys. So, full respect to those guys.
Can you just sum up your record for 2021?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I know it's unbeaten. Do you know what? I haven't had a fighter lose a fight since Tom Little boxed in 2016 against Dominic Akinlade, it was. Yeah. And then Tom went and won 3 off on the bounce, and then obviously I wasn't working with him from then on. So, yeah, not bad. But look, do you know what it is? Obviously, I love my job, and I'm here 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. every day. You know, go home, watch boxing, invest in this facility here, a lot of money, investing, having guys like Lee Wiley and Barry, so that the boxers have got more than what they could get anywhere else, you know, by tenfold. That's, you know, what I want to achieve. I don't focus on, oh, I want to win this, I want to win that. Josh was saying to me the other day, like, oh, what's your goals for the year? My goals are your guys' goals. Like, my goals are for you guys to be the absolute best that you can be. And if that means that at one point you come across a loss, that doesn't bother me, because as long as my guys can be the best that they can be and get absolutely maximum out of everything that they give. And that's why, I put a message out to the boys the other day that if you're not willing to turn up on time and do all these small things, I'm not bothered. You'll be put out the door, because I can't waste my time with guys like that. You turn up late, it means it's now affecting so-and-so's session because you're not bothered, because you can't turn up on time. I don't mean that in a nasty way, but what I mean is, like, my whole focus is getting the absolute maximum out of each individual. And to be able to do that, you know, it takes a lot of work and a lot of focus. And I feel like we go above and beyond, and that's what we try to do. I feel like that's what we do, and I feel like that's why the results come.
You had so many great moments with all your guys last year, notably the undisputed win, Lee McGregor, amazing European title fight, blowing away Karim Gurphy. Your other guys like Mark Dickinson and Will Cawley making their professional debuts at the end of 2021. Shabazz, the list goes on. But I think something that stands out has got to be that performance from Lee Wood against Kanzu at Fight Camp, because, let's be honest, no one was really picking Lee in that fight. Obviously, you guys believe, but that was just an incredible moment, wasn't it, of 2021?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because what I've just mentioned there, Lee Wood is that guy. Lee Wood, if his training session's at 3 o'clock, he's here at 10 to, making sure that he's ready, whether that be mentally, physically, everything's prepared, all his kit's ready. If you asked him to do a headstand in the corner for 30 minutes, he'd do it, you know. And, you know, that's why he was able to do what he done in that fight. And he's grown from that fight. He's only got better since that fight. Just as he did with the British title fight. You know, that was a fantastic win. Great knockout. And as you say, went into the world title fight. We turned up a fight camp, and it was almost the mentality of, thanks for coming. I was saying to the guys, trust me, Lee Wood's winning. They was looking at me as if to say, you're mad. What are you talking about?
Who was saying that?
Just most people around that the fight camp bubble was a bit like, yeah, right. I was like, trust me, Lee Wood will win this fight. And I think they was all shocked after, you know, in the fashion that he done it. But as I say, since that, he's grown again. Whenever you have a big win like that, any fighter, whenever you have a big win like that, you improve from it. I remember when Tyson was 28 stone, 27 stone, whatever he was at that time. We was in Marbella and he was talking about the Klitschko fight. And I said, you will be a better fighter simply just from that fight. What you would have learned spending 12 rounds in there with Klitschko and the confidence you would have gained from that, plus the training camp that you would have put in for that fight, all those things, you will be a better fighter when you get yourself back physically right and mentally right than you was before, simply from those experiences. And it's the same with Lee Wood. That's putting aside the quality work that he's getting here in this facility and the dedication, the commitment, and all of those things that he shows and gives to the sport.
Well, as we are talking about Lee Wood, just a couple of hours ago, DAZN and Matchroom announced that he will be fighting Michael Conlan. It's official in Nottingham as well, which is a massive boost for yourself and Lee. What a terrific fight that is.
Yeah, it don't really matter where the fight is, but for Lee, it matters. Like, not in the sense of, oh, it has to be in Nottingham and the crowd. For him to have that, like, Nottingham's a big thing for him. You know, he comes out in the colours and he's a massive Forest fan. And so for him to go back and have his defence in Nottingham, that's all, that means everything to him. So, yeah, I'm pleased for him to be able to have that. Great fight, really, really good fight. I don't really know Mick, but I know Jamie. And Jamie is one of the best people, not to have you ever meet in boxing. One of the nicest and best guys you'll ever meet in any walk of life. An absolute gem. Heart of a lion as a fighter as well. Some of his fights, you know, what a brilliant, just an all-round absolute top man. But it's business, you know. Mick's got an opportunity here. Lee's got an opportunity here to you know, there's big fights lurking for Lee once he gets past Mick. So, and Mick's a good quality fighter as well, you know. Both guys are so versatile, can box orthodox, can box southpaw, can box on the front foot, can box on the back foot. So there's so many different elements to the fight to have to look at, and so many adjustments that could be made from both guys. It's a great, great fight.
Definitely is. We're expecting Lee McGregor to box on April 23rd, I think you told me, against Cash Farouk. It was all done. But obviously last night we learnt some quite incredible and shocking news that unfortunately Cash Farouk has had to retire. Not got a specific reason yet, but people suspect it's due to medical or health reason. So just obviously you had a vested interest yourself with Lee McGregor in that what would have been a huge rematch, but just a word on Cash, such a talented young fighter having to retire at this age.
Do you know what? It's such a shame because what fighters put themselves through, not only once they get to a certain point, but his whole life. I don't know what age he started boxing, but you add up all those hours in the gym, all those clean meals you've eaten, all those times you've missed going out with your mates, all of those things, they're all sacrifices that add up, you know. And that, you know, we don't know the exact reasons. I'm saying what I'm saying in my mind as though it's a medical thing and it's not through choice. To have that taken away from you, it's a devastating thing. I'm devastated for him, you know. I know there was a opportunity for Lee to box him and you know, both guys would have made good money and whatnot, and it's devastating for Lee as well. But, you know, a big disappointment for Lee, but it's devastating for Cash, you know. to not be able to fight again. So my thoughts are with him, with his loved ones, with his team. I wish him all the best. Brilliant job that his team done with him as well. What a brilliant little fighter. A fan of him, you know, take aside that Lee was going to have to box him. A brilliant fighter. So yeah, I wish him all the best. And if he ever wants to come down the gym, spend a day in the gym or spend some time in the gym with the boys, more than welcome.
It's a very nice touch of you, Ben. So moving on from that, Lee McGregor obviously has to get on with his career. Mm-hmm. That's away, that rematch. So what's the plans with Lee?
Not too sure at the minute now, to be honest. I think that we'll look to get him out ASAP, hopefully, and then look how the situation lies after that at bantamweight and possibly at super bantamweight as well.
Okay, running through the rest of your stable, let's talk about two new additions. Well, they've been in the gym for a bit of a while, but officially announced while she was in Dubai. They've done their deals with Probellum as well. I'm talking about the McCormack twins. So let's start with that. Why was Probellum the right fit for them?
Opportunities. Just a long-term plan. The way that they've been spoke about, how they want to promote them. You know, I know it seems like sit back, they get put on a card, brilliant, they fight, amazing platform. But the way that it's done, and the plans that are out there that obviously the general public don't know, just have the right ingredients to create pay-per-view stars. Which obviously everything will sort of reveal itself as time goes on. So yeah, and that's what they want to be.
How talented are they?
Very talented. Obviously, you don't achieve what they've achieved in the amateurs without being talented, but they're good learners, and they're happy to learn. They want to learn. Good crack as well, you know, brilliant. Make me laugh, make me die. But between themselves, really get on with the rest of the lads as well. Obviously, know some of the lads. Know Josh from the squad. Know Mark and Will from the squad. Know Chris Congo from the squad. So they all half already know each other. So just slotted right in. But again, easy to work with. Self-aware is something I'd probably say. They're self-aware. They're aware that, okay, top amateurs, but we understand that there are adjustments that have to be made to become decent professionals, and they're happy to learn it. You know, all the boys will talk about the drills that we do down here. Some of them are boring drills, but they're willing to do them. They're happy to do them, and those are it's a necessary thing that needs to be done. And sometimes you come across these fighters that don't want to do it. They don't want to do the boring stuff. Want to whinge and complain and just want to smash the pads, but you know, there's a lot more to it to get the fundamentals and keep the fundamentals at a level that they need to be to go on to become a world champion or an elite boxer.
Well, your two other North East boys, Will Corley and Mark Dickinson, have potentially massive 2022s in front of them. Obviously, they really impressed at the back end of 2021. Yeah, same kind of question. How far can they go?
Yeah, I mean, Will's debut, a lot of the, you know, on Matchroom, they loved it. Talking about one of the best debuts I've seen, etc., etc. Real talented lad. And when he first come down, he was grossly overweight. And then since his fight, he's had a bit of time out of the gym, and I see him at Mark's fight, and he's kept his weight down. So I'm pleased to see that. Discipline's a key thing in any walk of life, especially boxing. And if you haven't got it, you're wasting your time. So I'm pleased to see that he kept himself disciplined, kept himself in shape. So that's a great positive. And as you say, to get 2022 started, and you want to build on that momentum that he created from his debut. Mark, obviously, again, built great momentum from 2021 and his debut. in that fashion, I purposely then put him in with a very, very durable light heavyweight to teach him a lesson, to say that you're not. If you want to move these lads fast, you've got to teach them these lessons fast. So he blew the first lad away, and he actually said to me, he watched him box Aaron McKenna, this guy, and Aaron McKenna threw everything and the kitchen sink at him and couldn't stop him in 6 rounds. So Mark said, I had it in my head that I'm going to be doing 6 rounds. Didn't look for it. Got the job done inside 30 seconds. I knew already, not that he was doing it in the gym, but I knew already that he was going to go in there and look to stop his next opponent. So I wanted to teach him a lesson early that you're not going to be able to go out there and blow everybody away. And if you have that mentality, you'll cause yourself some problems. So the first 2 rounds he went out there. That's why I decided to get him a very durable light heavyweight. First 2 rounds went out there, tried to showed his cards too early, to be honest, and then tried to get rid of him. Still boxed very, very well. You know, brilliant. Showed some versatility and adjustments from what he had done in his first fight. But, yeah, he sat down after the second and went, I've stopped trying to knock him out now, and laughed as if he knew himself, you know. But those are lessons that you got to learn very early on. And again, self-aware, able to during the fight, sit down and go, do you know what? I'm forcing it here. I need to relax, enjoy my boxing, and focus on what I'm doing, not trying to blow someone away. And they're key traits that you got to have to be able to build on your potential, and that's exactly what he's got. And that's why I believe that they've got the potential to become world champions for sure.
Okay, good to hear. Chris Congo, Too Slick, has announced a move with Boxer and Sky Sports, which is brilliant for him. And again, looking for a big 2022. And I've heard the name rather, Josh Kelly, bounded about a little bit with him. So that could be a potential massive fight on Sky Sports. Obviously, he's with Wasserman, Chris is with Boxer. So that could potentially be made as well. Could be a big fight.
Yeah, Chris, you know, Chris has got a lot of potential. It's a shame the way that the McKinson fight went around. McKinson, great lad. We're working with McKinson at the minute, sparring with Josh for the Jack Catchell fight. But I feel like Chris needs to make a statement to put himself back in that mix and have the public talking again. So, you know, I would like a fight that those guys, Conor Benn, McKinson, you know, a former opponent of those guys, Ranowski, who McKinson last boxed, or Formella, someone like that, for Chris to go in there and do a better job to say, this is the level I'm at. You know, I'm ready to mix with them as soon as they're ready.
Well, listen, yeah, congratulations to Chris on getting that deal done. Look forward to a big 2022. And last but not least, we can't forget one of your favourites, the Maverick, Shabazz Massoud. Yeah. What are we expecting from Shabazz this year? Surely this is a big breakout year for Shabazz.
Yeah, great win there for Shabazz last time out. So really pleased with that, especially when I flew back from Vegas for it. So it's better have been. No, great performance. I've seen that he's recently been put 15 in the WBA rankings, which is good. So hopefully we can get him a title for his next fight. Whether it's, you know, I know the domestic scene's a bit tied up. I don't know what's happening with Jason Cunningham at the moment at that weight. So, yeah, whether it's a domestic title, an international title, we'll see. But that's the next goal, and push him on from there. And he needs those experiences of the 10 fights, the 12-round fights, you know, to go through certain experiences. And he's still at a stage in his career where to try things out, put into practice what he's doing in the gym on the night. And these are all experiences that you can only get by being active. So hopefully we can keep him active, getting some titles, keep him active at a decent level. By the end of the year or middle of the year, hopefully see him with a big name. With his opportunity to make a statement.
Best stable you've ever had?
Is that best stable you've ever had? Microphone. I nearly chewed that there.
You don't like being put on the spot, do you?
No, I don't mind. Best stable I've ever had. I mean,
obviously, at one point you did have Fury, Taylor, and Saunders, right, at the same time.
Nah.
Never.
Nah.
You had Fury and Saunders.
I already knew, parting ways with Tyson, that Josh was wanting to come over. Tyson at the same time. But, yeah, I suppose you'd have to say so, really. I mean, Josh is obviously the most accomplished, becoming undisputed. This is what I mean. It's so rare. Look at the things that Billy Joe and Tyson have achieved. Amazing. But to become undisputed is such a rare thing to even have the opportunity to do, as we was talking about earlier. So, yeah, Josh, obviously the most accomplished fighter.
I'm guessing, you know, in terms of Mark, Will, the McCormack twins, top amateurs, you've got Shabazz there as well. Maybe my question was geared towards the talent coming up and the breadth of your stable at the moment.
Yeah, I'll look. Breadth?
Depth. No, it's breadth as well.
Is it?
We'll find out after it's gone out.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose, I don't, with the boys that are here, when they're here, I suppose I look at it like a stable. But I don't really have that mentality of a stable. Like, I'm willing to help and work with anybody that, like, my passion, what fuels my fire is people in general that just want to be the best that they can be, achieve the absolute maximum, which, because I understand what comes with that and how, like, most people look at people who have achieved something and there's always oh yeah, but he could do it, but I couldn't do it because of this. Oh, he got lucky because of this. He got lucky because of that. People think that I just walked into boxing and all of a sudden, like, oh, train Tyson Fury, like, you'll do over there. Do you know what I mean? I've pushed my body to the absolute limits. Absolute limits. I know what it feels like, what these boys are going through. That's why I can see. That's part of the reason why I can read a fight. That's why I can see things happening before they happen. I can see how they feel. Recently, I had to say to a fighter about pulling them out of a fight because I could see where they was at in their body way before it even happened. And I could see and you get that through experience, but people associate experience with age. I started working with Tyson Fury at 24 years old, but people have this idea that it was a case of, I held a few pads. Yeah, 5 minutes on there, mate. Yeah, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? But that is the way people think. But you don't work with these guys without having that something. And I've been able to do these things not because I've just got lucky, but because I've worked my fucking arse off, like non-stop. I've pushed my body to its limits. Not now, obviously, but I have done. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I talk about Tyson, but even the very first person that saw something and gave me an opportunity was Billy Joe. And I've been through those sessions with Billy Joe, pushing my body to its absolute limits. That's partly where that respect came from, because he's seen that. And he knew that I could see those things that I'm talking about when someone's overtrained, when someone's got a little bit more to give, understand what it takes to get somewhere. Being alongside him with his journey, becoming world champion as well. And, you know, like, that's difficult. It's difficult for family to be around. It's difficult to maintain friendships. It's what I was talking about with Cash Farouk. How many times has he missed things with his friends? Can't go here, can't go there. Like, I'm talking about it as boxing. It's a tough boxing is a tough sport. Tough sport in there. A tough sport outside as well. You know, miss family meals, birthdays, can't go to this restaurant, can't do this, can't do that. You miss out on so many things. I'm talking about it as boxing, but it's in general anybody that's got that mentality of, I've got to go above and beyond and do more and give absolutely everything to be the absolute best I can be in any walk of life. I respect that. So that's why I'm, you know, when I come across a fighter like that just desperately wants to be the absolute best they can be, and it doesn't mean at what level. doesn't matter at what level. When they've got that mentality and their maximum level is British champion, Southern Area champion, whatever it may be, I respect that and I love to work with that. And I almost feel obliged, if I'm being honest. I've always had this strange thing of feeling like I'm responsible for other people. And when I see someone that is willing to give that absolute everything, or other coaches that are hungry for information, I feel obliged, like, let me give what I can give. I may not be the best, some may think I'm the best, some may think absolutely terrible, but I feel like if I can share what I think is valuable information that I've learnt along the way, I almost feel obliged to help those, because you work so hard along the way that sometimes you do need a little bit of help along the way. And like I say, I know how tough it is, and these fighters that are willing to give absolutely everything, and it can be a tough sport. The business can be tough as well, and that's one thing that why I respect the MTK so much, because they give fighters opportunities, and they are all for the fighters. And when you understand that, like I was saying about this, I fully understand the cult type following in boxing, but it doesn't mean you can't respect other people that are putting in the work, and they may not be your favourite fighter, but may not be the best fighter. But anybody that's willing to put in the work that it takes, you got to respect it, appreciate it. And for me, I just want to work with it. So I love that mentality, and I just hate time wasters, people that aren't interested, And sometimes you get the best fighters that have that mentality. Unfortunately, you come across brilliant fighters that have just got that. They're able to do it, but they've got that, but still able to win and achieve. And nothing's ever promised. Winning is never, ever, ever, ever promised. Never. Never, ever promised. No matter how much work you put in, it's never promised. But if you don't put the work in, then losing is a lot more likely. So, like, even if they're the best fighter, but they've got that mentality of, well, I'll do a bit of this today, do a bit of that today, and go back. And boxing's just not their absolute everything. To me, I don't have that passion for that, I have that passion for things like the Lee Wood story. Got beaten the golden contract, come across, had an opportunity to fight for a British title. And I'll be honest, looking at the Reece Mould fight, I thought it was a difficult fight. It was a difficult fight because we only had about 6-7 weeks going into that fight. But as I was saying earlier about Lee's mentality, it gave me that passion to say, I want to help this lad achieve his dream, because at that moment in time, the British title was like absolutely everything for him. He'd wanted to win it since 11 years old, since he met Kirkland Lang, I think it was. At 11 years old with his British title. And as I say, when he come down for a week or so, and I could just see he's got that, as I say, turns up on time, does everything correct. I thought that fueled my fire to say, I want to help this lad. And this is what I mean when I was saying earlier about having that conversation with Josh. My goals are what their goals are. I knew that his goal, Lee Wood's goal, was to become British champion. That fueled my fire to see the way he goes about it, what he's willing to give, how hard he's willing to push himself. If I some fighters you can turn your back while they're doing a run or hitting the bag, and they think you're not looking. I purposely do that sometimes to look back and test them. And, when they've got that right attitude, it just gives you the passion to want to go above and beyond. And Lee Wood's a great example of that.
It's an interesting chat, that. No, I enjoyed that. So, Ben, on that note, thank you very much for talking to IFL TV. We wish you a prosperous 2022 with your large stable now. And, thank you very much for your time.
That was a bit of a weird rant, wasn't it? But